Hey, David and Chaz, Liz in Portugal. How you guys doing? Just listening to the last episode of The Grit, and I just have to say, I loved hearing David regale the pleasures of nose riding a longboard. And I want to ask you, Chaz, to please consider us humble longboarders worthy of being real surfers, because we are, and I really wish you would reconsider your stance on longboarding. I love the show. I love listening. I'm a longboarder, and I'm not ashamed to say it, and I love longboarding, and I got to surfing late, and I tried other boards, and I just never had as much fun as I did on a longboard. And I was just in La Saladita, Mexico, and I can tell you there are a lot of really young, cool, stylish hipsters now longboarding, doing really elegant nose riding, and it's really a thing of beauty. So I just want you to reconsider, maybe take a longboard out, go have some fun with it, see what it's all about, and, you know, give us some love too, because I love the show and I really don't want to stop listening, but please don't slag longboarders anymore. Thanks, guys. Keep up the cool work. Lots of love from Portugal.
Liz, ask and you shall receive. This weekend down in lovely Cardiff by the Sea, this Saturday and Sunday, is Camp Shred, which, if you're around, it's legitimately super fun. It is one of those, I don't know who started Camp Shred. I know it came out of the, I think Surfing Magazine or Surfer. It came out of that franchise somewhere, but I don't know if they sold it or if it's independent now or what. But in any case, it's got real boardroom vibes, right? Where it's just a fun place that's set up at the Cardiff campground. It's the different shapers or whoever have campsites, and you can go, and it's demo day, right? Like you go and you grab a board and you go out. And so I was planning already on dipping in. Per our conversation last week, David Lee Scales, expert nose rider as he is, describing the feeling as levitating. Is that what it was exactly? What did you say?
That is what I said. Yeah, levitating.
Yeah, levitating. And so I was like, you know what? I want to levitate. And then I thought, you know what? Camp Shred. And I think the forecast for waves is a solid 1 to 2 feet down here. Perfect for longboarding. Devin Howard just so happened to hit me up, Liz, and said he'd be here with a new CI Booger Sugar, their new nose riding model. And so, Liz, I am planning on paddling out on the log. What is it actually called? The CI.
I was going to say, is that really the name?
It'd be Devin Howard. You get that one for free. But it is the CI whatever, their new nose riding model. Okay. And so all stars are aligning, Liz. You likely put this into motion, this turn of events where that is what's happening. I am going to paddle out on a longboard Saturday or Sunday, and, you know, Devin will be there. And so I might have Devin. Devin told me, or told, I guess, David Lee and I, that the feeling is also like standing on the nose of Titanic with your Rose nose riding, I suppose, and Jack behind you holding you. And then he lost Jack somewhere in the metaphor. He just said it's like that. It's like if Jack wasn't there. But I was like, why can't Jack be there? Can't Devin and I paddle out together? Can't Devin shuffle me to the nose and hold me tenderly around the waist while I spread my arms and fly?
You know, they can expedite production on a tandem model, get it ready for this weekend. They got 24 hours to turn the thing around, but yeah, they just need more volume. You guys
if anyone could do it, Channel Islands can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful image. It's a beautiful image. Devin embracing you.
Yep, around the waist.
Your hair flapping in the wind.
Totally. Arms spread wide, just flying like an eagle. Because to be honest, also Liz and everybody else, as per said last show, I have no idea how to cross step. I can shuffle. I can get to the nose by shuffling, right? Do you cross step, David Lee?
No.
I lift that 1 foot for the cross step, and all of a sudden my world goes berserk. Like,
it's so funny.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why having 2 feet on the board is essential for my ability to surf at all. But so I can shuffle to the nose. So I'll shuffle out there and see what I can do.
I don't know if I can even shuffle. I'm good at scooching.
Yeah, that's probably what I do too. Scooching on out to the nose. I'm
Gotta
like a
scooch.
dog dragging its bottom on the ground.
Exactly. Well, great. Glad to hear you're converted. I mean, look, at this point in time where you've embraced body surfing, knee boarding, almost anything, if you held out, yeah, Grateful Dead, if you held out longboarders as the one group that you were going to, not accept as surfers, which made me sad to hear Liz say, will you accept us as surfers? Like,
That's okay. So
you don't need our approval, first of all. And then the fact that you're standing on a surfboard makes you a surfer.
But let me be clear about my beef with longboarders, and it's my fault. I understand this. I recognize this, that I surf longboard waves, right? Those longboard waves used not to be peopled by longboarders, right? They were sure mushy, whatever, not critical. But all kinds of people were out there on, mostly shortboards, fishes, shorter boards. Now they are exclusively longboarders, which means I keep having to move further and further afield purely because I can't compete. And I just, maybe the booger sugar will convert me fully and I'll just can't beat them, join them and hop on out there with them. But thus far, so that's my frustration is they have moved me off the reservation, as it were.
But you do accept that you were surfing longboard waves from the beginning.
Yes, longboarders weren't there. Longboarders hadn't come to those waves yet.
Well, they abandoned them at a long time ago, 20 or 30 years ago, but they were longboard waves. The style of wave is ideal for a longboard. Longboards started there, eventually went away through trends, and now are trending back because people realize.
I mean, yeah. So it's this might be this Saturday or Sunday might be a true awakening where I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm putting one of these in the quiv and I'm taking it back that I'd rather longboard than not surf. But jury's still out on that one.
In a year from now, you will be exclusively longboarding.
I mean, that's the worry. Like these waves plus can't beat them, join them plus, yeah, I mean, that's it equals being exclusively on a longboard. But man, I was out today, sneaky little day, right? It has been bad surf down here. Got the report. I love the eyes on report, right? Like I had went down, this is Friday, yesterday. No, sorry. Yeah, yesterday. Went down twice. Went down early morning, 6:30. I'm paddling no matter what in the brain. Just looked at it, break for like 10 minutes. It's like, I cannot get out there. Did the same thing after. I was like, you know what? I blew it this morning. I should have just gotten wet. What worst that happens? I, sit in the sun. It's great. I'm doing that this evening. Same thing. Bringing the board and wetsuit and towel back dry to the house twice in a day was very defeating. So I was like, this is it. I'm shutting this down till Camp Shred. But then got the eyes report from the beach day. Hey, it looks actually fun down here. So hustled down and got such fun ones on my, It was like a perfect super mini day. And I just can't imagine like turning. I mean, not that I'm crazy turning that super mini, but going fast and doing enough kind of up, down. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could replace that with going very straight on a longboard.
For the record, it is the CI Nose Rider is the model with designed by Central California core lord, board builder for decades, Wayne Rich. But I do see a marketing opportunity here to create a model for the new longboarder, beginner longboarder, entitled the Booger Sugar.
I like it.
And you can be the collab partner on this project.
I can finally reach where I've always been trying to get a professional surfer with an exclusive board.
Yep. They could basically,
given that it's made, one, why can't I?
Exactly. Now there will be a bidding war between Shea Soma and Channel Islands to get you as their team rider. Shea's already got his teeth in, but you've been riding Channel Islands in the past. You're going to be riding it this weekend. So there's an opportunity for you to leverage one against the other.
That is exactly, and let's not forget the wife's an agent. I've set the
that's
table
right.
perfectly for her to go and represent, give me a banging deal.
If the deal will be one surfboard a year that you have to return if you want a second one. Well, also to kind of research the actual details, you said who started Camp Shred. Turns out it is one dearly departed local legend, Scott Desiderio.
Oh, sweet. Scott
I know.
Desiderio.
I forgot that detail
did
that
too.
he did. Yeah, that he did actually start Camp Shred back in the day, but Scott passed away in 2023 due to cancer. So that was sad, and I remember when that happened. Whole community was, broken up about that, but his legacy lives on through Camp Shred, so that's cool.
And again, if you're anywhere, I mean, I will say boardroom, I like to give you, dear listener, a vicinity, right? So I would say if you were within 50 miles of boardroom, it's fully worth the drive in. I'm going to even say 60 miles. If you're 60 miles from boardroom, drive in. I'm going to give the same vicinity to Camp Shred. So if you're within 60 miles.
If you're down to the border of Baja, or up to Los Angeles, or out to what would go
Yeah, I mean,
east?
I'm gonna expand this. I'm not gonna say Palm. I'm gonna say Riverside. I'm gonna say if you're in Palm Springs, enjoy the sun, enjoy the pool and the Mai Tai. But if you're Riverside, if you're Greater Los Angeles, if you're Riverside up to downtown, if you're beyond downtown, that one's on you. Come on down, but that can be a rough 3-hour slog on a Saturday.
True. All right. Well, have fun. Sorry I can't be there. And thank you, Devin Howard, for following up and, listening to the show and also making sure that Chaz understands the virtues. And thank you, Liz. We also have another follow-up email. Last week's Barrel or Nah about wearing your hood in the car. It was easy to dismiss. It was easy to not it. Well, we got an argument coming in for it. Here's a bizarre and practical reason to wear a hood while driving a car. A high school friend was driving with a large amount of marijuana in his car and a bunch of sandwich bags. He was wearing a hood while driving through a nice neighborhood in our hometown, and he got pulled over and searched. They found his stash, and he was on his way to being convicted for possession with intent to sell. My friend was also convinced that the cops pulled him over without cause, as he is a careful driver. So when it came time for the trial, he was able to request footage of the cops' dash cam. It clearly shows that he did not break the law, and he was able to pin the cops for pulling him over because he was wearing a hood. He burned the cops by providing racial profiling and got the case dismissed. In this instance, wearing a hood was the cause of the problem and the solution. Crazy. Drug dealers, drive slow, wear a hood. Everyone else, maybe not. Work.
Epic. This is one of the greatest rebuts to a Barrel or Nana I've ever heard. That is perfection. I want to know that dude. I want to hire that dude I want him to be my lawyer. I mean, that's just what I want, I suppose. I want to go on a Hunter S. Thompson-esque Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with my lawyer, that dude.
I agree. I love that story. We talk about movies occasionally. Did you like the adaptation of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
No, because I felt that Johnny Depp was too big a fanboy of Hunter Thompson. And his fanboyness came across in unfortunate cloying ways, I thought, right? Like it'd be like a super fan of Kelly Slater playing Kelly Slater in a movie where you're just playing Kelly to the Kelly hilt. So I didn't like it. I like Benicio.
I never even finished the film. I tried to watch it 2 or 3 times and it was just disorienting.
Who directed it again? It was
I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's what's his dude who's famous for that style of like real like wild off kilter. He's kind of gone away. I'm surprised we haven't talked about this director.
I can't think of it
while you're researching.
Yeah, I can't.
That's part of the show.
Well, I did this update on my phone and now it works super slowly.
Oh man, how bad is that phone update?
The worst, dude.
It is the worst. This caught me. I love how they roll out the update where not everybody gets it at once. So the populations get screwed like a wave, like this person, then this person, then this person. So I got screwed first. And I was like, what is this? My life was all of a sudden a good 45% more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Wife, it hit like, and I just kept it to myself. I was just like mumbling, mad and slow and missing stuff. Hit the wife like 5 days later, and she came down the stairs in a rage. She was like, where? Ah! So mad, and has been mad to this day. It is an awful update.
Totally agree. Terry Gilliam.
So 12 Monkeys. He's done a bunch of stuff, but Terry Gilliam's gone away. Did he die?
I don't know. His last film looks like it was 2018, so maybe. Don't know.
Did you never like 12 Monkeys or any of the Gilliam films?
I like 12 Monkeys. Yeah.
Yeah.
12 Monkeys was all right, but they were always hit and miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. We got a big show. Stab in the dark controversy. I'm just going to, you know what? Forget I even said that. I'm just going to play a call to lead us into this one.
David and Shaz. It's Kevin, formerly from Ventura. Calling with a barrel or nah. Barrel or nah, being a surf media outlet that allows a former world champion surfer to hijack your project, turn it into a very large free paid advertisement for that said event, and then getting off scot-free by having creative control and kind of sending a half-baked product with only 4 episodes as opposed to normal 8 episodes for that project, because he didn't want to have to serve too much. Anyways, Barrel and All hijacking your media outlet event for the gain of yourself. Barrel.
Thank you, Kevin.
Or not.
So it's been a few days. Monday we recorded Noble Rot. We did a deep dive. I gotta say, it took me a couple of days to recognize it, but you're positioning the stab in the dark controversy alongside, political and global conspiracy theories was genius. I think global politics or global just conspiracy theories have primed us to really view things through a skeptical lens nowadays, like literally everything that happens now. And I'm not sure if it's good or bad. I'm just more skeptical and more cynical about any news received. And so stab in the dark landing, and it was perfect timing. And so you framing it that way was genius.
Here it's funny because I thought I had mined this vein enough that we wouldn't, we had said everything we needed to say about it. There's not much to see here. Let's move on. Had a great conversation, long conversation yesterday with a person who shall remain nameless, but is in the industry. And we were going over it, right? And the more we were talking about it, realizing to Kevin, formerly from Ventura's point, how at the end, how spineless and gutless Stab was. And this is a product of their access journalism, right? This is exactly what they got. They got a heaping pile of dung because they were so eye on the prize of access. So again, and I said initially over on Noble Rot that I really enjoyed it, right? And I realized when I stepped back a little bit, what I enjoyed was the conversation between shapers, and that was it, right? Like that was great. I thought those were really well shot. I thought those were really well done. I thought the shapers brought their content A game. Nobody was holding back. It felt very authentic, I suppose, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
But in any case, outside of that, okay, so, and you could tell the fact that they shot this, a year ago?
Yeah.
And didn't release it until now means they were really struggling with what to do with it, right? So they got a pile of crap, and then they thought, I feel, okay, we're going to craft this around the shapers. Of course, we've already discussed this. This is going to be the arc of our story. The Kelly thing will kind of be a tangent. The problem is they should have just canned the whole thing. They should have known from day one, this is we got to take this one on the chin. This is a loss. We are not going to let Kelly hijack this thing. Our brand, we need to protect. We don't need to protect Kelly's brand. Kelly is not that big a get compared to totally destroying the reputation of our brand and the reputation of this project that we've spent, what is it? Is it 10 years? No.
Yeah.
that we've spent
Yes.
10 years building, right? We've spent 10 years, and the fan of this show, which there is a fan, has invested 10 years of his or her life being engaged in this, right? And like, that is not, all that is currency. All that is, Stab worked really hard for that and pissed it away because they had Kelly and did exactly what Kelly wanted and then released it. There was a struggle in the room if it took a year, A, of how to cut it, B, of should we not do this thing? So that's my first point. Second point is, talking to this person, poor Dan Mann. Poor Dan Mann, just cannon fodder, complete cannon fodder for Kelly Slater. So I heard internally that poor Dan Mann he's not used to taking heavy criticism. He didn't put himself out there for heavy criticism. He didn't force himself in. He didn't tell Kelly to pick his board. He didn't tell Stab to force him in. Like, none of this was Dan Mann's fault. Dan Mann is catching strays because of this. And I heard, this is hearsay, but that it hurt his feelings, that he had a tough time. And I want to say, Dan Mann, don't have a tough time. No sensible surf fan person blames you for this. You poor guy, just doing your job, doing the best job, doing a great job. You are a great shaper. You've been shaping for years and years and years and years and years. You are a master of your craft. You are not second tier, all of it, right? This is none of your fault. This is Kelly Slater being a dick. And then Kelly Slater also talking about this more, blaming both Terry Hardy and Dylan Slater for what happened is so narcissistically awful. It is, going back to the political thing, it's Trump like just sending Kristi Noem out like, hey, you be a big dumb, Trump kind of style thing. You go pound your chest and go, and then, cutting her at the, like, it's just, there's no care about anyone else, right? There's zero way, and we talked about this in number one, 0% chance that Terry Hardy, who's very smart, Dylan Slater, who's very smart, got together in the room and said, you know what's going to do good for our brand? You know what's going to really put Firewire out there to the public? It's in a good light. It is if we force our shaper into this thing, knowing that Kelly will pick his board, boom, win-win. Stupid.
Yeah. So Dan Mann, I think, lived by the sword, died by the sword. You know what I mean? And so once he decided into that part, work for Slater Designs, have the boards manufactured overseas. If you don't anticipate the amount of blowback that might come from those decisions, then that's kind of naive.
Yeah.
And I think he's smart enough too. So I think he probably ran a calculus of just like, hey, you know what? It is what it is, and it's going to be worth it. He probably didn't anticipate being involved in Stab in the Dark and something like this happening. But I also think there's no reason for him to have his feelings hurt because I didn't see any animosity directed towards him whatsoever.
Catching it in the DMs and whatnot.
But that maybe so. But the public comments I've seen often start by saying, no offense to Dan Mann at all. This has nothing to do with him. Seems like great guy, shapes great boards. And then they go on to lambast Slater and or Firewire, So that's just what I've seen. I haven't seen his DMs.
Is Stab catching much heat for this, or is it all just, because
yes.
So I blame Kelly
50-50.
and I blame, for Kelly's narcissism and all that, but Kelly is what he is. The 100% of the real blame for this goes on Stab. They should never have released this thing.
Yeah, Stab is not getting as much blame as Kelly and Firewire. They actually, a lot of people are saying, I think they did a good job given the raw material that they had. That's the main thing that I've seen. But I agree, I see both sides. Because at the end, it's just entertainment. And they made something that we've all been talking about for weeks. We're all entertained, some enragement too. So I think that, through that lens, it's fine. But I also completely agree with you in that they had a series that has a theme and a legacy and they stick to it. This does not fit within that. And so it does undermine all of their efforts there and also compromises the legitimacy of the competition aspect of it. And I feel like maybe I told you this on Noble Raw. By the way, anybody who actually wants to hear the deep dive of getting into the minutia, go listen to Noble Rot Monday's episode. But I don't know if I said this to you there or not. They should have just packaged it as a separate entity.
Yeah, not Stab in the Dark.
Don't call it Stab in the Dark. Call it Kelly Slater testing surfboards or something.
Yeah.
You know, like...
I mean, because they could have goofed him right there also, right? They could have said,
Totally.
like, hey, you're going to play us. We'll play you, too. We'll just say Kelly Slater picks his Shaper winner. Is this, in a conversation with Shapers.
There was they did something similar years ago with Australian regular footer Jai Glindemann, and they called it microdose.
Yeah.
Because it was actually the electric acid surfboard test, but they did like a mini version of it. I have no idea why. Maybe it was scheduled to be a big one. It didn't pan out. So he had 3 boards, and it was like a 15-minute one-off episode called Microdose. And so they could have easily just done Microdose Volume 2, Kelly Slater, And by the way, it didn't need to be... They stretched to get 4 episodes when normally they have 8. It didn't even need to be 4 episodes. This could have been literally a 20-minute thing.
Or 2 eps, right? Two 20-minute eps.
Yeah, and it's like, and unfortunately, Sam had put a bunch of time, effort, and money, and the Shapers had put time, effort, and money into it, and they would have had to just eat those losses and be like, I guess we're only getting a 20-minute piece of content out of this.
I mean,
but that is what it is when you do the pay, access journalism thing. Again, it comes with risk.
They could have also just, but I guess it was all about Kelly, or I guess not all of it. They could have just done the director's cut of Shaper chat, right? And just put all those Shapers chatting about whatever they were chatting about. But I suppose it was so Kelly specific, a lot of the conversation, that without that angle, it's not like a standalone, oh, it's Shapers talking interesting shaping talk.
So, again, you want the minutia, go listen to Noble Rot. But I think this email that I got actually is going to be the ultimate takeaway. And I would like it if those associated with Kelly and Kelly's businesses kind of understood this. I think this kind of makes it really concise. He said, prefers to remain anonymous, but he said, Tony Hawk is widely regarded as the greatest competitive skateboarder of all time. But core skateboarders see him as somebody who gives back to the culture more than he takes from it. His skateboard company, Birdhouse, sponsors core skateboards, and you'll see many real skaters cite Tony Hawk as their favorite skater. In snowboarding, Shaun White is widely regarded as the most successful competitive snowboarder of all time. However, core snowboarders see him as someone who takes more from snowboarding culture than he gives. You will never see a core snowboarder riding a Shaun White snowboard. This episode of Stab in the Dark has definitely proven that Kelly Slater is somebody who takes more from surf culture than he gives. His refusal to remove the Dan Man surfboard from the eligible boards in the episode shows that he is putting his own personal financial well-being ahead of the spirit of the Stab in the Dark series. Not that I was going to before, but you'll never see me buying a Firewire surfboard. Anonymous.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great, perfect take. I think those 3 characters too, the Tony Hawk, Shaun White, and Kelly Slater, long kind of held up as, this kind of, triumvirate of the action sports. And he's exactly right. He is 100% right. I've never once heard a course. All I hear is Shaun White dismissed and scoffed at, or, he's not even in the conversation. He's not even a thought. It's not even like they're mad at him. He's just like, oh yeah, you're doing Target shit and whatever weird stuff. And
But he's laughing all the way to the bank.
Sure.
To our emailer's point, and my wife knows his name.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just not part of the core. And whereas Tony is.
Yeah. Well, to make this a gritty conversation, I got another fun email. Said the only way to solve this current spiritual debate in surfing, or there is only one way to solve this current spiritual debate in surfing. As people born in California, we must bring California and Florida together. Therefore, Britt must exorcise the turtle demons from KS11 live on your guys' YouTube channel. Britt, being a former pastor, probably has some sort of awareness for how to do this. And the emailer says, I could be the associate pastor for Britt if the demon gets feisty. First step is to exercise. In the exorcism of KS11, he must give up one of his world titles to find our redemption and become KS10 once again. So I like this because Britt, this series kind of became Britt versus Kelly, or the Merrick family versus Kelly. and Britt's pastor background. I know it's more Catholicism that focuses on exorcism, but maybe Britt can.
Pentecostalism too. There's all
Okay, cool.
It's across the It's not really in Brett's purview, but it's all there.
Yeah. So Britt maybe needs to study up on exorcism specifically before we do this, but I feel like he could do some good work with Kelly, try to exorcise the demon. Kelly can find redemption.
Imagine what a great film it would be. This could be Stab in the Vatican, where we follow Cam. Britt goes to the Vatican, studies with an exorcist, right? Like, just think the moody lighting. You can't go wrong at the Vatican with what you're filming, and then off to Florida or wherever Kelly Slater is to get that turtle.
I'd like to
Release
see.
the Hoodie.
I'd like to see Britt in one of those monk hoods.
Just think how perfect he would look. I mean, the best part would be in like the as they're early morning, bells chiming at the Vatican. They're shuffling out with their hoods on, right? And then one in the hood is standing 3 times as tall as all the other ones. And it is Britt Merrick.
Exorcising the demons of Kelly Slater for our own personal redemption. By the way, while we're on conspiracy theories, this would be the perfect time to resurface Elo's exit from the WSL as a storyline and really dig into some conspiracy theories there.
Man, I mean, so the last one I heard, did we talk about this?
I don't know.
Last one I heard was that it was a pure financial thing. I think I did talk about it. Is that he was refusing to bend on whatever his salary package was or something like that. And then for sure something happened in Brazil. Like, why is this going to happen in Brazil? But so they were just looking for something to cut salary. But if he did something, it was for sure drunkenness.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins? We can ask Tony. I feel Tony Robbins has to, like, part of this self-help has to be self-honesty at some point too, right? Like, you can't go living a lie and be a self-help guru.
You know what though? No,
Deepak Chopra?
I disagree. No, I was going to say I would love to live in a world where you are right. But the sad truth is when you get to a certain level, it's all fake and all phony and hypocrisy.
That's true. But if I could sit Tony down and I could say, Tony, look, Erik Logan is now your right-hand dude. This is the megaphone for your message. Socially, whatever, through your channels, all of it. Erik Logan. And I need Erik Logan to be honest about what happened with his last job in order for me to accept this.
Yeah, I like it. I think that the reason Tony has gotten to his position, Tony Robbins, and Erik has gotten to his position is there's a certain cutthroatedness and backstabbingness that you simply have to have. If you're altruistic and benevolent and giving things to everybody along, no, you're not going to get to that level.
Yeah.
If all your employees are making the same amount of money as you, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get to that level.
I didn't want to have to pull this card, but now I'm going to have to. I know somebody very close to Tony Robbins, and I didn't want to put them on the spot of having to ask, but I'm going to now task them and say, hey, Tony, sorry, but there's the surf world. It's bigger than you think. There's real problems around Elo. Just make it okay for them. Just tell us why Elo got fired from his last job, or do you know?
No. So I hope that you do get to the bottom of that and research it a little bit more. And again, time is ripe for conspiracy theories. So maybe even figure out how to write about it and document it. But if the non-disclosure when he left is ironclad, then he doesn't have to reveal it. Like Tony Robbins doesn't know about it. Erik Logan isn't going to fess up to it. And so he can just stay mum. And Tony Robbins is like, okay, this is a fair hire.
So do you think at that level, at whatever level, it's well beyond Starbucks barista, where they're not calling references? They're not saying, okay, let's look at your last 3 jobs. Let's start with Oprah, And then let's move. Your last job was WSL. Let's call WSL. So Tony's not saying, let's call WSL.
I would think Tony's people are calling WSL and having those conversations. But again, it's legally, you're not allowed to discuss why he was fired.
If you were looking to hire, if the Surf Splendor Network was looking to hire someone and you called that person's former employer and they had been fired, not resigned, not let go in a, reorganization, reshuffling, but fired, publicly fired. And so you call them and say, why was this person fired? And they say, we cannot discuss it because it is locked down tight legally. Would you say, yep, I'm trusting my dude?
I think that at that level, they understand that that's common practice often. And if Erik has a cover story, like maybe he used your cover story that you just said, he's like, oh, it's a financial issue. They don't want to pay me what I know I'm worth and what I provided for the company. And so, yeah, they're not going to talk about it, but that's the reason why. Tony Robbins can say, yeah, that's fine. That's standard business practice.
Wow. Well, I mean, again, though, this doesn't, Elo cannot, a lesser light cannot fall on Elo. He's already standing in the pitch black. Not that I had like some huge high respect for Tony Robbins, but I mean, I guess it's the poo-poo touch. Erik Logan just poo-poo touched Tony Robbins, because now I truly think, I didn't think one way or the other about Tony Robbins. I probably even thought generally positive. I've never heard bad stories about Tony Robbins. I know people who've had their lives, really impacted for good by Tony Robbins. And again, I know someone who works for Tony Robbins very closely and says, great dude. So I always had a either neutral or positive. Poo-poo touch. He's got the poo-poo touch. Poo-poo touch into my heart.
I wish I had that available right now to play.
He's straight up poo-poo touch Tony Robbins, definitely for me. And I'm going to put it on a poll on my Instagram today. I'm going to say, did Tony Robbins get poo-poo touched? Yes or no?
Well, it's still to come. Once Elo's actually employed, that is where the poo-poo touch starts happening, where his behavior.
All Elo has to be is in the room in a conversation, and the poo-poo touch starts. Yeah. The poo-poo touch just gets worse and worse the longer he's there.
Yeah. If I can find, the song is not loaded into my media console right now, but if I can put it in post, I will.
Great.
So for those listeners who are new to the show, who don't remember the poo-poo touch song. So moving on, I'm going to let you dig in deeper to that, please. People are dying to know the answer there. And also want to know why he was fired. So try to get to the bottom of that too. Yep. And then in other news this week, Stephanie Gilmore becomes a Barbie doll.
Wow. Who saw that coming?
Not I, but as a girl dad, do you have thoughts on, so the reason why Barbie does this obviously is to normalize or, diversify the Barbie's existence. Like it used to be empowering young girls to have like a representative Barbie, basically. So do you have thoughts on that? Do you have thoughts as a girl dad? Does your daughter even like Barbies?
No, she never did. It's funny how, and I suppose the same would be true with a young Austin, is there's avenues you can go down, right? So Austin could go down the Lego Avenue. He could go down I don't know what the boy toys are these days, the Transformer Avenue. Like when I was a kid, right, there were kids who played He-Man and there were kids who played G.I. Joe, and rarely the twain met, right? Like I never went over to I'd go over to the rich kid whose parents were divorced house, and he would have each of everything.
That's the difference.
Yeah, but that was it. Like any other kid, you had to pick a lane, right?
Yes.
I wasn't a Star Wars kid. I was a G.I. Joe kid. And so I had G.I. Joes, and I had a couple GoBots, I think. Remember GoBots? The off-brand Transformer? I had a couple GoBots, but I wasn't in the Transformer life. I didn't watch, Megatron and all this. I didn't even really know where these things came from. I knew G.I. Joe. All to say, so she went down the, not Bratz, I can't even believe that I forgot the name of it. It's a Brat-esque doll. It's it was that style. So that was her doll. It was not Barbie's. And I would try to push Barbie early because Barbie was easier to get, right? Like we go to the Target, and I cannot believe I'm forgetting the name of that doll. Man, glad doll days are gone. But in any case, she wasn't the Barbie girl. She was that other doll girl. Loved the movie, and really was the kind of perfect age to uncynically be inspired by the female empowerment story in the movie, right? Like it wasn't like, well, this is just a crazy marketing play and a very like making the cheapest form of feminism ever and blah 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 blah. No, she was like, yeah, girl power. Love the Barbie movie. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Stephanie Gilmore. It wasn't Stephanie in isolation. It was in relation to International Women's Day. They released various Barbie models with various other female empowerment figures, athletes, and the like. So Stephanie is one of those, but it's got to be something. It's a real feather in your cap.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember it's funny. It's those things. I mean, absolutely nothing against Stephanie being a Barbie. That is fantastic and wonderful. I remember thinking as a kid, man, imagine you are famous enough, popular enough, well-known enough to have a figurine made after you. It just like blew my mind, right? Did it blow your mind?
I never even entertained the thought. I didn't know that was a possibility.
I mean, of course not. But you see a Hulk Hogan doll or a figurine, or you see a whatever figurine. I was just like, man, at some point in action sports, they're making met the wife, married the wife, came in, and there was a Cersei Wallace posable action figure on the shelf. And I was like, whoa, you have an action figure? Man. So yeah, I mean, mind, I guess, it was rude for me to say my mind is not as blown. It should just be way more blown that the wife has an action figure.
Was it made when she was like at the height of her career?
Yeah, snowboarded. It had a baseball card in there. I think it might even be open. That's how little she cared. I think I saw the package and I was like, whoa, where's this? What's this? And then there was just like the Cersei little action figure in the bathtub or something.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is your daughter impressed by that?
No, I think that action figures, she did not grow up in the wow, an action figure is like peak existence.
There's nothing. Let Rob Reiner's son be the definer of this. There's nothing you can do as a parent to impress your children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's like, you could be, I mean, David Beckham's kid hates him. Like, there is nothing you can do.
That is true. I like to have a poster boy for this too. Nick Reiner.
Sorry, we're laughing about that. That's terrible. But it's proof, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, it's totally true. Look at like Michael Jordan's son. Seems like he disdains his dad by going and dating, Scottie Pippen's ex-wife and stuff. That's like a deep level of disdain for your father.
That is subversive, dude. I could not believe when I found that detail out.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
It is really true.
That is insane.
We have to, dear caller, or listener, I would love to put on a pedestal, just as a father. I would love to know I guess we could say Ben Stiller. Seems like Ben Stiller went and made a stinking movie about his dad, and seemed like he always really respected his dad. Both of them are very accomplished, and it seemed like Ben Stiller on the other side. Ben Stiller is the anti-Nick Reiner.
So I know we're talking sons and fathers, but Mariska Hargitay did a good one too about her mom, Jane Mansfield.
Oh, classic. That one's so good. That one that
I know.
Both of them are so iconic to me that I've known this fact for a long time. Every time I hear it, I'm like, fresh again.
I want to say it's on HBO. I feel like it's called My Mom Jane.
Yeah.
And I was amazed how well made the documentary was, and also how impressive Jane Mansfield was as a person.
Yeah.
Like multilingual, played, I forget what instrument, I want to say violin, like incredibly well. She was like so impressive and talented, but only ever ogled for her big boobies. basically. So kind of amazing. Anyways, moving on. I've got some real exciting intel here that you will enjoy and appreciate and could go viral on Beach Grit.
Cannot wait.
Okay, this came in through an email. Hey, DLS and Chaz, this email is for the Grit, which I'm a longtime listener. I figured this topic could be great for conversation. A list of members of the Bohemian Club / Bohemian Grove recently circulated online, and a database is searchable. See it here. So I'll post this on the website, but if you want to look it up, it's thebohemiangrove.info. While poking around, I noticed a name that genuinely surprised me. Gerry Lopez.
Oh, yes.
You knew this?
I think I've heard this before, yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
As you may be aware, the Bohemian Grove / club is famously secretive, invitation only, men only club, while gatherings up in Northern California. It's basically a who's who of establishment power types, old guard business leaders, politicians, which is not exactly the vibe most people associate with surfing's counterculture roots. Seeing Gerry on that membership list struck me as a bit of a record scratch moment, given he seems such an emblem of surfing's more spiritual, anti-establishment ethos. The idea that he's a member of what many people would consider one of the most established clubs imaginable feels notable. So, does Gerry's membership in a secretive, invite-only, power elite club ding surfing's core score? And then he also offers a barrel or not, but I'm going to save the barrel or not for later and just cut that out of this conversation. But thanks for the great show. Work, Scott. Please don't use my last name for this submission.
Scott, you shall remain nameless. And unfortunately, no. I mean, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, is Gerry Lopez, this is just rude. This is as rude as it gets. But what are we here if not speaking truth, right? Gerry Lopez dinged surfing, or took himself right out of surfing's anything with his stupid Costco board. That's done. You're finished at that point. And so I have we got to see the end result of Gerry Lopez being infected by power, greed, money, whatever. So I am not surprised at all. And this is how he probably met some bro at his super exclusive men's only, hoity-toity club who said, hey, Gerry, you know what? Your name has pop. You know what else has pop? This softboard market I'm hearing about. So let's all get this up. I'm sure that all came straight from there. Like, Gerry went down a path to, I don't want to say it. I'm sure he's a great dude. And I do not want to say it, but all I can say is what I see. And what I see is Costco softboards, landfill garbage. And, yeah. So I don't know. Sorry, Gerry.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, how did he get access to, if this is kind of power elites?
But I'll tell you, I know exactly how.
Okay. Well, I was going to say his Soptoff money could have got him into that club, actually, now that I think about it. But no, you're right. It was invited because he's cool. And then that's where the business opportunities take place. That's the whole point of these secret sects, is it's a referral group.
And this is not, I'm not making this comparison lightly, but Epstein and his crew love to basically suck the life. They got their power from sucking the life out of young girls, right? I mean, sucking the soul out of young girls. Somehow they got. I've seen it in other groups where they get that same rush from sucking the marrow out of notable cool figures, right? And so Gerry Lopez, then you invite these rich dudes, Zuckerberg. I mean, this happens all the time, and this is not like sneaky and gross like pedophilia. It just is what it is. So you have, Zuckerberg trying to become best friends with Kai Lenny. You have,
MMA people.
Absolutely. And so for sure, it was some rich dude who got his, social rocks off by being bros with Gerry Lopez. So then he brings Gerry Lopez, and then, they take Gerry Lopez snowboarding on their fancy, super crazy heli trip. Yeah. And then they take Gerry Lopez, all expenses paid plus money to G-Land, right? And then Gerry like shows them the G-Land ropes, and on it goes. And Jerry's great for Gerry. He's traveling the world and blah, blah, blah. But the price of it is, or the cost of it is, I suppose, is you lose your soul. And I'm not saying Gerry's soulless, but in terms of the core space, Gerry's soulless.
The capitalist pursuits have now become more enduring and actually have lasted longer than the original thing that made them famous in the first place.
And I would love, I guess it's tough at the end of the day. You're Gerry Lopez, right? You come to the fork in the road. There is Devil and Daniel Johnson sitting right there. What's the devil?
Robert Johnson.
Yeah, Robert Johnson.
There was, so the documentary about Daniel Johnson was entitled The Devil and Daniel Johnson,
yes.
But the myth and the lore and the title itself comes from Robert Johnson's meeting at the crossroads.
So you're Gerry Lopez as Robert Johnson. You're at the crossroads right now. Devil sitting there. Down this path is core respectability, a tiny shack on the North Shore still. Whatever. You get to go to like trade shows sometimes and walk around. That's cool. Down this path is everything. It is the world. You travel the world on luxury jets, taking luxury helicopters to untracked mountain powder for the rest of your life. That costs your soul. And Gerry Lopez said, "Yep, don't need it. Don't need," and not soul as in actual soul, but your core soul.
Your soul within the community, your integrity or whatever in the community.
And so I can't fault him for that. I mean, what would you do if you were wandering down that path and says somebody, "Hey, you could be still, you could care about this stuff, or you can get rich."
So I was going to ask you the same thing: is have you turned down opportunities or things because of that exact decision-making calculus? And while you think about it, I will say, I think everybody who takes the money and the opportunity does it thinking that they can manage both and that it won't necessarily compromise their integrity in the community. They can make a little bit of money and still use that money to fund the core pursuit. But just, it seems to be an inevitable conclusion that money and power corrupts. And the more you're hanging out with that group of people, the more you want to be like them, the more you want to level up your lifestyle. You got to move to a new neighborhood, got to buy the nicer car, got opportunity. And so the priorities just change. Then you're managing all of that stuff and servicing it. And so you need to take another job to do that, And so without having much time to look in the rearview mirror, you get so far ahead of the original ideology that you're just living in that world. But anyways, have you turned down opportunities with that?
I think the wife would sure wish that I did. I think the problem with me is it's just proof in pudding. Like, I just am what I am. So I will not self-sabotage on purpose, but I'll just go say what I actually think and write what I actually think and all this stuff. So I'm really, nobody in power is like, yeah, that's the dude we want in here. That's the look feel we're going for. I mean, I think the Sam McIntosh say is probably a lot more akin to what they want than I am. So they can go get Sam McIntosh.
I don't think I would, like, I always consider opportunities. If it's like a financial opportunity or some business development thing, like I always take them into consideration and run a calculus. But, the one thing I do walk away from regularly is opportunities to spend time with famous surfers, like or in the way that like Sam McIntosh is doing the, access journalism thing. I don't care about access at all. Nope. Like I will get text messages from famous people who I idolized growing up, or not famous people, but surfers that I idolized growing up. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll reply. You know what I mean? Like I will generally reply, but it's like, I don't want to be friends with any, like my social calendar is really reserved for my family kind of thing. And it's like, I want to operate
specifically though for you. It's not that you don't want to be friends. It's that you don't want to be friends with them based on their name alone. Right. If they are like, if they're cool and you would want to hang out with them no matter who they were, then you'll
Yeah.
be friends with them. But
If we have stuff in common and enough, back and forth, then it's like, okay, yeah, we're obviously friends. But yeah, the zero of the interest in access or wanting to be friends with Kelly Slater or something like that.
yeah.
You know?
I can't, to be quite frank, and I'm not just saying this because I'm actively not friends with Kelly Slater, I can't imagine anything worse. I can't imagine also working for the Trump administration or the Biden administration when he's being senile and you have to say, nope, this is a normal dude. Like having to lie to yourself. I feel that hanging out with Kelly Slater, you'd always have to be lying to yourself. You'd be like on his program entirely and doing what there's no way Kelly is looking for constructive criticism in his life, right? And so just to sit there, Kelly, be a yes man would be so uncomfortable.
I don't think you're lying to yourself constantly or all the time. It's just that you know that you have to be in lockstep with his things that he says. And so there are plenty of days where he's not saying anything that's in contrast to your own beliefs, but the days that he does, you're not allowed to say your beliefs. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. I heard, I think this is public knowledge or you talked about it last time, but I heard a little extra about this. You said that, I think you said it, right? That the stab crew would show up at the beach at 8 a.m. and Kelly wouldn't show up in 4. So I heard a little bit of extra of what Kelly does with his time, which is always perpetual, this healing thing here or this blah, blah here, where he fills his life with things that are benefiting him or good for him, pushing everything else that's not directly that off into the margins. So you would just be part of that. You would be, if you're buddies with Kelly, you would be in the margins of Kelly's life, where you would have to make him your full life, right? You would have to be there on the beach from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. in the hopes that you get to spend 2 hours with him instead of saying, kick rocks.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what the point I was making is I don't care about the 2 hours.
Yeah.
I got my family I want to hang out with and stuff I need to do, I do have a Kelly call that I want to play, but not yet. Let's go to Doppelgängers first because our take on Jack Johnson and Jeffrey Epstein has gone viral.
I need to know, was Wheeze, and by Wheeze, I mean the person who shall remain very secret who sent it in, did this predate all this?
No. Ours predated the internet's virality.
Yes. Okay.
So we planted the seed on the internet. So I'm playing a video right now that's doing a much better job of showcasing the similarities between Jack Johnson's physical appearance and Jeffrey Epstein's than you and I did. And this has kind of gone viral this week. I think this creator's name is The Fittest Flat Earther, if you want to go watch and listen to the video. But we planted the seed on the internet. I don't think this guy listens to our podcast. Maybe he does randomly.
He says he got it from somebody else. So it's probably a 3 people, he got it from somebody else. That somebody else either got it from us or got it from somebody who got it from us.
We put it in the ether. We know that much.
Okay, so do you feel bad about this?
No. It is what it is, dude. It's not like we didn't manufacture anything. This is just truth out there waiting to be found.
Yeah. Do you feel worse at this moment in your life for Dan Mann or Jack Johnson?
Dan Mann. Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson charges $1 million. Literally. I've heard.
But man, this thing,
per concert.
Okay. If you looked exactly, and I'm saying exactly like Hitler, would you be bummed?
I would absolutely be bummed. I would shave my mustache first of all and grow out
Jack
my
Johnson
hair.
has like bushy, curly, or shaved hair.
Yeah, I would try to change my look as much as possible.
But you still look exactly like him. Your face is just Hitler face.
Yeah, it's sad but true.
So
you're stuck with it.
Yeah. So I guess, poor Jack Johnson, because when Jeffrey Epstein, people knowing him at all, I remember seeing pictures of him, I think, this financier guy. I don't remember the cover of whatever, the Incredible Mr. Epstein or whatever it was, but what was it?
I don't know.
Whatever. He was in my consciousness before all this somehow. And so I would have thought, and if you're Jack Johnson, you're like, oh yeah, I look like that dude. That's cool. And then lo and behold, that dude is a demon pedophile.
Turns into literally one of the most evil people of our time.
Yes. And now
really
you still look
unfortunate.
exactly like him.
really unfortunate for Jack Johnson. So, anyways, just thought that was worth noting. The other thing is your doppelganger submissions won't quit.
Yeah.
There's more that come in all the time.
I mean,
So
is it the same sauna workout kind of thing, or people are pulling from different Kid Rocks?
No, different, not even Kid Rock, different people that you look like. So
it's not Kid Rock anymore?
No. This week, Elijah Blue Allman got arrested 2 times in 3 days. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, of course.
Cher's son that she had with Greg Allman.
Yeah, Cher and Greg. Oh, wow.
So look at his arrest photo.
Oh, no. Wow.
And this is you on Noble Rod on Monday, I think.
It's really, it's undeniable.
Yep. You look like Elijah Blue Allman, apparently.
I don't feel like Elijah Blue Allman. I guess this is this is good because I never thought that dude was ever handsome. And Greg was always not handsome, but I always thought Greg had like sick style. It's funny that I hate the Grateful Dead so much. I went through a real Allman Brothers phase. I guess went through a kind of Southern Rocky phase, but always loved the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah. And then Cher, I was like, iconic. Like, so you got iconic. So Elijah Blue, do better, Elijah Blue. Anyway, you got
just making bad choices.
Some real bad choices.
Did you see why he was arrested?
No.
He was like trying to get into a girl's private school, like dormitory.
Oh yeah, I read that. Oh no, Elijah Blue.
And I was like,
not in this day and age.
Well, I was waiting for a sentence that said because his daughter goes to that school.
Yeah,
it never said that. It's just like trying to break in. He was like drunk. Okay, here's one more submission that I'm going to play a video so we can see him talking and you talking at the same time. Have you seen this one?
Heard this one.
You've heard this one before.
I heard this one when I had, I should go back to it. When I was rocking the pencil stash, I was getting John Watered all day.
So this is John Waters, film director, artiste, talking about a subject matter that I thought would be a bad decision to play the audio of. He misses perverts is what he was saying, basically. He's like, perverts used to like solicit for their behavior, like in public bathrooms. And now they're not there anymore because everything's on the internet. You could just go home and be a pervert by yourself. He's like, I miss seeing perverts in the wild, basically. I was like, that's an interesting take.
That's really funny. I wonder what the pervert alarms you have going off back, because I've heard stories of this my whole life, right? Or growing up, of like, yeah, man, you go into these certain bathrooms and ooh. And I'm like, have you ever been solicited in a bath? Have you ever seen solicitation in a bathroom? Have you ever even had the vibe of somebody is in this bathroom to get busy?
No, but I've been in bathrooms, maybe on a road trip at a truck stop where there's messages written on in the bathroom about solicitation.
Seen many messages, but I've been to hundreds of probably, if not thousands, of seedy bathrooms across this country, up and down California. Didn't come from money. I was seedy bathroom city all day, every day. And have never once seen like a dude making eyes at another dude in the bathroom. Yeah,
but again, this is from back in the day. Like, go to Craigslist.
I'm talking back in the day. I'm talking like 80s, 90s, road trips down through California. Like, I'm saying my entire life.
I'm saying you were too young back then to really understand what was going on behind the scenes.
If I would have seen two dudes like flirting in a bathroom, even as a 12-year-old, I think I could have figured out, uh-oh, this thing's weird.
Yeah. I also didn't witness it, thankfully, but I did hear plenty of stories of don't go play at the park, or don't go to that park, or don't go to that whatever because, or the truck stop lore or something. And so I had a fear ingrained in me of certain locations and places that I avoided.
Okay. Well, if anybody, listener, if you have experienced firsthand perversion in a bathroom, I want to know about it.
I would like to. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, exactly.
Why didn't they like me?
I know. I for sure never got hit on in a bathroom.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Well, we got to go to commercial break, but rather than playing our commercial break music, I'm going to play a call that we can go out to And I don't think you and I need to discuss it any further, so we'll just go out on it. We'll come back with Barrel or Not after commercial.
What's up, guys? This is Dennis from New Jersey, just for the grit. You haven't talked about it yet, but I'm sure you're going to. Stab in the dark. Kelly Slater is so full of shit. There is no way that he didn't know that was a firewire. I'm just a regular surfer from New Jersey, but I've ridden chemistry surfboards for the last 10 or so years. Willie and Jason are great guys. Semi-local company out there, awesome. But anyway, they were in Stab in the Dark with Taj Burrow, 13 boards, and on Just Outline, when they first announced the lineup, I picked the board out correctly, just looking at the board's outline. And I don't know a thing. You're telling me that the most detail-oriented, probably spectrum surfer that's ever existed can't tell the board he's riding every single day and not have definitive answers on that? It was ridiculous. Chaz, when they first announced it and you kind of said, I don't care about Stab, I don't care about Kelly, I was like, oh, Chaz is being a little soft, and I know he doesn't like Stab, but I'll tell you, I thought Stab did a great job with dealing with what they got out of Kelly. I think Kelly couldn't have looked any worse. He just seems like an absolute douche. And I got to give Sam credit. I think he did a great job with it. I think it ended up being good. But, yeah, there's no way. He's full of crap. Chaz was right. As always, you guys rule. Work.
All right. Welcome back from commercial break.
Oh, yeah.
So I told you I was saving a Barrel or Not from that previous email about the Bohemian, what is it called? Club?
Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove. Barrel or Not, belonging to an exclusive private club like or a secret society like Bohemian Grove.
That's a tough one. We're going to have to go discuss this a little bit because I don't want to be rash.
Let me share my thoughts.
Go for it.
And then you can think. I think it exclusively depends on two factors. The name of the club. It's got to have a cool name. Bohemian Grove's all right.
A little weird.
Exactly. Like, it's kind of like, what is that about? I'm not sure. Now, the Illuminati, pretty
Skull and
freaking cool.
Bones.
Skull and Bones is a great one. It's almost trying a little too hard, to be honest.
Except it's been around since like forever. So it was trying too hard back in 1795 or whenever it started. So that's pretty cool.
The Knights Templar. Freemasons.
Yep.
I'm okay with Freemasons. Anonymous.
Yep.
Anonymous is kind of cool.
Yep.
There's others. Oddfellows, kind of weird. So my point is two things. I want the name to be really cool for me to be involved with it. Number two, depends on the level of nefariousness. So Ku Klux Klan, can't join.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you guys are up to bad behavior. So what is the central conceit that the club is formed on? But it's really weird because you obviously have to, the secret society has to rally around a cause or just a belief system. But because it's a secret society, nobody outside of the group can know what the cause is. So it's like you have these very strongly held beliefs that you want to impose and infiltrate throughout the world, but you're not allowed to talk about them. So it's a real paradox.
This is really tough, right? I thought I had it, and then that brief pause right there made me even rethink again. Because on one hand, just got finished with the Foresight saga on, I don't even know where it's at. It's like funny, the Masterpiece Theater just rolls out these like British period dramas from 2003 that I'll just be like, whoa, where have you been all my life? And so it's, Britain 1920-ish. So it's, wood paneled room filled with cigar smoke, dudes drinking brandy, social private club, right? And I think that looks good. But then I think, okay, I can't imagine, I guess it would be, okay, here I go. It's no barrel for our society. It would have been a barrel in a time and a place where it was expected that men or women, moved away and did like had their own social club thing. And then if you're going to layer a little bit of secrecy and imagery and whatever onto that, then that's pretty cool, right? You're a Mason now. But in today's day and age, it feels try hard. It feels like we've outlived secret society. But let me unpack this a little further. Have you ever had any buddy tap you for one?
No.
I had a job interview once, an English teaching job. And dude sized me up, I guess. And he stopped talking English job very quickly and started talking about the Freemasons. And then he said, come for a walk with me. And we went like outside and wherever down the street, I think. And there was one of the Masonic temples there. And he said, here you go. Anytime you want to go in and ask for someone, right? And I'll just leave it at that. You do you. And I never went in, but it was the first, I just thought, oh, you can actually join those things. I just thought they were static. But if we had, for example, a secret grit society, we had certain tenets about turtles and whatnot, and we had a wood paneled lined room, and we had brandy and cigars, and we had to dress up. There was a solid dress code, right? 3-piece suit. None of it was sloppy. Would you be, yeah, I could step away from the family once a month for that?
The aesthetics appealed to me, but I have a poker group that gets together and does the exact same thing, and it's not a secret. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, we don't wear 3-piece suits, but we do get together and we drink the alcohol, like bring over a nice bottle of whiskey kind of a thing. And like, there's no objective or agenda, I guess would be the difference. We're not trying to enact some sort of influence over any other people, but why does it have to be a secret society?
Okay, if you were Gerry Lopez, if somebody said, right, David Lee Scales put their arm around your shoulder and said, come into this secret society, this is not just about wasting time and or play acting old-timey stuff. This room is filled with money and power. This will help your career. This will help your life in general. Opportunities will arise in this secret society that would not in life. Do you say yes or no?
Again, how cool is the name? And number 2, what level of nefariousness? Because I'm already, because of my skepticism based from that we discussed earlier in the show, my cynicism, I'm like, what's the misdeed? What are you guys actually doing?
The level of nefariousness is basically what I think many is keeping the plebes down. It is, we need to keep money flowing here. We're not communists.
If it's explicitly to keep the plebes down, I would not join. But I think it'll be I think what it'll be sold as is like, let's do business with our buddies and people that we like doing business with and help everybody elevate their own station in life. And that I could jump into.
Okay, I'm going to say no barrel. I've thought it through. The Marxism in my heart at the end of the day says, nope, kick rock, secret society. Don't need you. Okay. Don't want you.
All right, you're out.
Yep, you're in.
I'm vulnerable. I could be swayed into this thing. They might just take advantage of me. Okay, moving on. Barrel or nah? Energy gels in the lineup. I was surfing my local Cornish beach break last week when I noticed a guy next to me in the lineup pull something out of his wetsuit sleeve. On closer inspection, I realized it was an energy gel sachet, the kind road cyclists use, stashed neatly up his arm. He calmly tore it open, downed the contents between sets, and then tucked the empty wrapper back up his sleeve. I actually thought it was quite a good idea, but then it got me wondering, how far could you take this? A chocolate bar? A pre-packed sandwich? A Cornish pasty? Those are called pasties, right? Not pastries. Yeah, pasty. For the long winter sessions, I'm fairly certain modern neoprene has enough stretch to accommodate all sorts of culinary contraband. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Work.
0 barrel. Let's not even get into the slippery slopeness that you brought up here, dear color inner. I'm going to focus specifically on the energy gel. To turn surfing into a marathon or to the Tour de France or to something where you're actually need it, you're depleting so much energy that you need it. If stinking, talked to Randall Paulson the other day. You know Randall Paulson, don't you, David Lee Scales?
Not personally. I know of him.
Underground epic pipe charger. And he was talking about a session out at Pipe where I think he was out like 8 hours, right? Randall Paulson doesn't have no wetsuit out there. He's not stashing like sustenance on his board somewhere. If Randall Paulson can be in the lineup at Pipe for 8 hours, then anyone can be in the lineup for any amount of time that you're actually going to surf without need of some modern science, like giving you that little boost.
I like his other culinary contraband ideas better than the gel.
Definitely.
Like,
I mean, if you're gonna paddle out with a sandwich in the lineup, then that's like weird, and you do you.
He went up the scale of things that sounded appealing. Like chocolate bar, I'm like, all right, well, that sounds kind of good. Sandwich, even better than chocolate bar. Cornish pasty?
Pasty?
What?
Yeah.
Pasty.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love to carry that out in the lineup. But interestingly, I was at Chicama with Scott Bass last year, and he gave me an energy gel because it's like the lineup is long. You're going to be out there. It's a bit of a mission to get back to the hotel, so take this with you in case you need it. If you want to stay out, if the waves are pumping and you want to stay out, you might need a little fix. And I actually did not take it out in the lineup with me. I think I still have it here just because I don't like the idea of energy gel.
Yeah.
There's something that I can't wrap my head. Like, even though I wanted it at some point, I was like, I don't think I'm going to eat that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a power bar? Can I do that instead? Yeah. But do power bars still exist?
I think they do. All those energy bars, real quick, have you ever eaten one and felt anything other than I just ate like some cardboard? Like, did you get any kind of spike or kick, or now I can keep going, I can finish off whatever this task is, and or I don't need to eat lunch or dinner or whatever? Like, to me, they don't make me full. They don't taste good. They don't give me any kind of energy. It feels like an entire waste of that I did something wasteful that I should have just skipped.
I feel the exact same amount of energy from it that I do a banana.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get more energy from a banana.
I think so too. You're right. And it tastes better. Yeah. So okay, then we're going no. No on all of this. Sorry. Nope. But I also think, look, amazing. Randall Paulson could put an 8-hour session. That's superhuman. Because I understand, like, if the waves are pumping and you literally do not want to miss an opportunity, or you think it's going to shut off any moment, so you want to get as much as you can, you'd hate to go in and miss. Once you finish your lunch, then it shuts off and you add an extra you could have had an extra 30 minutes out there. So I understand that, but I also rarely have gotten to the point of exhaustion to where I can't just power through it.
It's really hard to hit the wall when your surf sessions stretch 45 minutes.
Yeah, that 46 minute, brutal. All right, we're going no. Final barrel or not, based on the Elijah Blue Almond photo that I saw when he was arrested, he had a cane. So barrel or nah, bringing back a cane as an accessory. Again,
this ties right back into the Foresight saga that I just finished on wherever it was, Netflix, wherever. And those dudes, so it's again, 20s Britain. They all had canes, right? They're all walking with canes and they're doing like the flip when they walk, right? So flipping it straight out, back, flipping straight out, back. And I was trying to think about it because I was looking at the whole thing overall, right? Again, 1920, I probably went from like 1900s and 1920s or something like that was or whatever, that time frame. And everybody cares about their appearance, right? Like the men, so I liked that. I was like, yeah, you guys, I wish I lived in a time where people cared that much about their appearance, where it wasn't just vanity, it was for culture, right? We're all going to put our best foot forward when we step out of the house each and every day. And that's going to raise society. Then everybody's going to be, it's not, rat racy. It's not, I'm sure some of that was in there, but It feels like, no, this is the way to live. You live properly and there's a code and there's an ethic and you don't leave the house like a sloppy mess, right? Honestly, in watching this show, I think that introducing the cane was the straw that broke the camel's back. And that's why we wear athleisure and bullcrap today. where I was trying, it's just unnecessary. I mean, maybe back then to like flick dead animals out of the path, or to like, there would have been a purpose for it, because it's not for balance, and these are younger men doing this, right?
Yeah. Like we all understand the necessity of a cane for somebody
Old
who
man.
is debilitated.
But unless you're flicking dead animals out of the street, I don't know what you need a cane for.
Well,
it seems like it's that one unnecessary accoutrement too much that broke the entire system.
It could be. We can all pin it on the cane. Pin it all on the cane, I suppose. But on its face, like when I saw that photo, it made me like him more. I was like, first of all, I'm like, was Elijah Blue Allman debilitated in some way? I mean, he looks like he's actually pretty down and out. He's pretty unhealthy. So maybe he did actually need it. But then I thought, the cane, you have a lot of different choices to make with a cane. Like I'm sure CVS sells like a very standard one, but
you get you get the round cane. You get the one with the knob on the top. That's like a cool, whatever.
Is it made out of wood? Is it some sort of composite? Like how much polish does it have on it? Is it, they've all got character. So I'm like, man, in terms of like a fashion accessory, you have a million options that you can showcase your personality with a cane. Some of them, as we learned from the penguin, have weaponry instilled into it. So there's a functionality now involved in it. So there's a lot to like about a cane. And I think that in the right person could bring it back.
Do you think there is any scenario that you can paint for yourself besides costume, party, or that, where you could rock a cane completely self-unconsciously, where you could be out with your cane and, okay, so no costume party and you didn't just tear your ACL.
So I said somebody can bring it back. That somebody is not me. I could not rock the cane.
Okay, so let me give you just one scenario here. Lauren booked a great 5-day getaway to the English countryside. Let's say she won it. There's going to be horse riding stuff going on. It's in like a, fancy-ish manner. You're expected to dress well. Is there any way you could introduce a cane into that milieu?
That would be the location that a cane could exist. But again, I'm not the guy for it.
Okay.
I can't even pull off a hat of any style. Like even a baseball hat, I feel weird in. Like the less I am a minimalist when it comes to any of this stuff. And it's strictly because my personality is function. It's just kind of like, what do I need? That's it.
Let's go a little further here.
Okay.
Is there any scenario where you could wear a pocket watch?
If a grandfather who had passed away had a sentiment, this is straight out of Pulp Fiction, I think. Yeah. And he had keistered it through the war. Yeah. And then I was able to sanitize it, then maybe I would carry that as a sentimental thing, but otherwise, no.
With a chain onto your thing, like a full on, not just like no chain. Okay, no chain. So what about, is there any scenario whatsoever? I know you're not a smoker, but that you would have a cigarette case.
No.
Like you're going to a party and people are smokers there, and you're going to carry your your silver cigarette case, and you're going to pop it open and offer cigarettes to the ladies on the porch.
I don't want to carry anything. I carry one key in my pocket, my wallet, and my phone. I do not want an additional thing. So no.
Oh man, I guess that the jump to glasses was a big one for you.
I could have gone with a monocle.
I mean, could you do a monocle?
In keeping this theme, if we're keeping the old-timey theme, how funny would it have been if I showed up in a monocle? Or I'm like, hey, I gotta read this email, and it's just one.
But to be there's a lot of ways to go in glasses. I mean, you're just starting on your glass journey here.
Dude, I could have got a monocle because I think I even told you, my prescription is only my left eye.
Are you rethinking this?
I'm rethinking this. My right eye is perfectly fine. I need just one.
Because how good would it be just to hold it up too? Like, do your reading and then be done with it.
Yeah. I can like attach it to
Totally.
a lapel or something. I could not pull off a cane. I can pull off a monocle, and I'm going to.
I mean, fantastic, because I feel if you unlock the monocle, you're going straight Monopoly Man pretty quickly, I think. Because you're going to think, you know what this monocle needs? This monocle kind of needs a top hat. You know what this top hat could use? A coat with tails. No coat with tails is complete without a cane. There you are.
Found my way to the cane and to wealth as well. I'll be selling
Secret
peanuts.
Society. That David Lee Scales is getting invited straight in to the most prosperous secret society of all.
Go in there and start selling peanuts to all of them. Finally figured out how to get rich. It starts with a monocle. I like it. Dress for success. Dress for the job you want.
Absolutely. Peanut salesman.
All right, cool. Thank you for that. Glad we got to it. Welcome. All right. Well, hey, great show. And listeners, if you want more and kind of off the record, even more salacious banter, more than calling Jack Johnson an Epstein lookalike, more than calling Kelly Slater a douche. It's all over on Patreon. Extra Fine Grit is where you go. Patreon.com/ I don't know what. Just search Extra Fine Grit. And then, of course, we have another show that is non-surf related, except for Monday's episode, and that is called Noble Rot.
Which was also not surf related. It was about conspiracy. It just happened that Kelly Slater was the conspiracy of the day.
That's right. But there's plenty of other conspiracy theories that we discuss as well. And we'll do it again on Monday on Noble Rot in 3 days. So 2 or 3 days. So go get that. Anything else, Chaz?
That's it.
All right. Great show. Until next week.
Keep working.